Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back. In today's session, I'm going to cover 5 specific examples that helps you to understand the philosophy of non-dual Advaita Vedanta. The first example is of the paper and the hole. So, the hole in this paper is the awareness that appears inside your limited body. If you consider the paper as your limited body and this hole as the mind, you can see the awareness appears in the hole or inside the mind of your individual body. However, hole is not only inside the paper but also is outside the paper, which interpenetrates through the hole and also pervades the infinite reality which is outside of the paper. So in the similar way, the absolute reality or the absolute awareness, non-dual awareness, interpenetrates through the whole. However, it appears within the limitation of your mind inside your individual body. Actually, there's no separation between body, mind and the infinite awareness around. So if somebody asks you, where are you? Inside the paper or outside the paper, you have to answer both. The second example is of Google Map. Suppose you are going to your friend's home and riding your car or vehicle across the road of Mumbai. Now, inside your vehicle, there is a dashboard where Google Map is showing up. So in this example, the terrain of the Mumbai, which is the reality, is Brahman, absolute reality. However, the simulated map which is being shown up in the dashboard of your vehicle is the apparent reality, the reality that appears to you, the reality that you can see, hear, touch, palpate, manipulate. The Google Map which is in the dashboard is extremely useful, applicable, which you can use and go anywhere you want. However, if you confuse the dashboard over the reality which is the terrain of the Mumbai, that is a mistake. So similarly, Vedanta says that the apparent reality that we are seeing is the phenomenological reality constructed by mind, and therefore we should not confuse it with the real reality which is the Brahman. So definitely the phenomenological universe that we are seeing is very useful. Here we can maneuver in space-time, we can hold object, we can talk with each other. However, we should not confuse it with the absolute reality which is the Brahman. Third example, the plane and the dashboard. Imagine you are a pilot who is flying a plane across the sky. Now, in front of you there is a dashboard where you have a navigation panel which shows you many information, such as the velocity of the wind, the velocity of your plane, angle of your flight, and so on. Now, each of these information is absolutely necessary for you to navigate the plane across the sky. Very useful. However, are the information being shown up in the screen or the dashboard the reality outside of plane? No. In the similar manner, what we are seeing is a datum, information that presented to our mind. It's very useful. If we don't follow it, we're gonna crash our system. However, we should not confuse the information that is being shown up in our screen as the reality, which is the ultimate Brahman. In this example, the dashboard is our mind, the plane is our body, and the information in the dashboard is the phenomenological world that we see, but the reality outside of plane is equivalent to Brahman or the ultimate reality. Next example, the fourth one, is of movie and the screen. Suppose you are seeing movie on a screen. Inside the screen you can see little images appearing and disappearing. colors, shape, they appear and disappear. It seems like a work of the light and the shadow. However, the screen remains changeless. Yet, when you are seeing the movie, you are seeing all the changes happening there, and you are so engrossed in the appearance and disappearance of the images, which are made up of light and shadow. So just like that, the screen is the Brahman, the ultimate reality, which does not change. Yet all the phenomenological reality, appearance and disappearance we can see, hear, touch, palpate, manipulate, appears inside that screen. So the apparent world is inside the screen, yet the absolute reality is different from the apparent reality, because the apparent reality is just appearance and disappearance within the Brahman, the screen. The next analogy is of dreamer and the dream. Imagine that you are dreaming. So inside your mind there is a dream world where you have a character which is actually separate from you, and now you are experiencing that character inside the dream world. And not only the character, you are experiencing the whole dream world, the mountain in your dream, the flowers in your dream. And not only you yourself, you can dissociate into other people, for example your friends inside the dream. So that means inside the dream your mind dissociates itself into mental contents such as mental mountain, mental flower, mental character which you suppose as yourself, and other mental characters including your friends. So when you wake up, you realize that all of these mental contents within your dream were made up of your mind. Similarly, all of the things that we see in the apparent reality are true, are relative reality within the dream. However, just like everything inside the dream world was made up of the mind, similarly everything that we can see in the apparent reality is made up of the non-dual awareness or the absolute Brahman. Just take analogy to the higher dimension and try to metaphorically understand the phenomenological apparent world as an expression of the mind as a dream world. Brahman here is equivalent to the mind, and phenomenological world that appears to us is the modification of the mind. Now the question is, can you experience this non-dual awareness? Yes, directly. You don't have to access it through any intermediate knowledge. Actually, you can experience non-dual awareness right here. For example, if you ask me what is the proof that I exist, is I experience this thing. I'm experiencing my presence in this room, and I'm simultaneously experiencing the walls, the space inside the room, the camera mirror in front of me, everything. So this presence is made up of experience, and the experience has different colors, shape, geometry, but ultimately all of these things are made up of experience. The substance by which this experience is made up of is the non-dual awareness. Awareness is modified as the mind, and then mind is modified as the mental perceptions, and that mental perceptions confirms with the phenomenological reality I am experiencing. So ultimately you can reduce all of your experience into a non-dual awareness. So in this direct experience, Brahman is the non-dual awareness, Maya is created by my mind, which exist at the same time do not exist, because it is the modified Brahman. However, it also appears as the phenomenological world. Finally, one more question. If I am the modification of Brahman and you are the modification of Brahman, then why we are experiencing differently, and why there is no unity between your experience and my experience? Let's answer this question using an analogy that a philosopher, computer scientist known as Bernardo Kastrup explains. Just imagine a person who has a mental dissociation disease, and now this person's mind can dissociate into two personalities which are separate from each other. Same mind, same person has been dissociated into two different personalities, but these two different personalities, and they do not know each other. This is happening because the mind can dissociate into as many number of personalities as it can. It can dissociate into many point of views and experience itself from different points of views. So similarly, the Brahman is immaterial cosmic mind, so that's why it can dissociate into as many number of conscious agents as possible, and each one of these conscious agents are actually experiencing Brahman itself. However, since all of them are dissociated, there's no direct contact between them. For some people, when they have this thing called metacognition, the boundary of their ego dissolves, the boundary of their mind when dissolves, they can recognize the fact that the dissociated personality was apparent reality, and the mind as a whole was a non-dual reality. Now you can easily understand how the non-dual mind can actually dissociate into different number of individuals and experience itself distinctly in each one of those localized point of views. Yet the multiplicity is in not contradiction with the oneness, because it is the one mind that dreams and becomes all the substances within the dream. It is the one mind that dissociates and becomes all the personalities into the dream. So Brahman is the cosmic mind, the absolute reality. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again in the next episode.